Hi everyone, this is Alex E. Hanbury, and I play Jamie, Johnathan Harker, and Detective Sheridan in the Dracula Inquiry. We wanted to invite you to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @the_Artsonist to stay up to date on episode releases, live streams, and other fun stuff. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Dracula Inquiry. Okay, recording. Case file number 18B97S. Evidence exhibit S1, voicemail recording from Simon Jones' phone. This is from the end of day 1 of the incident. Playing now.
Hello, this is Simon Jones. I'm afraid I cannot answer my phone, but please leave a detailed message for me with your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Hi, Simon. It's Annika. Lacey let me know that you all were arriving today, but I hadn't heard from you, so I was worried that... Just hoping your flight was smooth and you're settling in well. If you want, I'm not forcing you to, of course. Just give me a call back. I know it's late, but I'd love to hear what you think of the library and the town if you've had a chance to see it. Take care, Simon.
That is one way to endear us to Florence.
Listen, I am a simple man. I felt bad. I just want people to like me.
She was so ready to fucking destroy our worlds when she heard us outside and came searching, expecting some horrible disaster. And she was so confused to find you drunkenly sleeping on front patio.
I think she was grateful.
That is wildly unnecessary, but I guess thank you.
Okay, all right, here we are. Oh God, where did I put my key?
Oh, Jamie, please don't tell me you lost.
No, it's fine. Here it is. These pants just have a lot of pockets. And we're in.
Oh, God, I can't believe we didn't put our luggage away earlier.
It's fine. We'll do it tomorrow.
Good plan. I'm gonna collapse now into the nice, comfy pile of luggage. Ow. Not comfortable. Oh, I think that was Lacey's boots in my lower back.
Yep. Okay, I will stick to the nice, comfy armchair here. Yeah, I think my choice is panning out much better.
I stand by my choices.
Yeah. Does that include when you laughed in my face?
Jamie, please, for the love of God, don't choose this moment to talk about that.
I'm sorry, I'm just sad, that's all.
Nope, sorry, we can talk about this later, but right now I am shutting this down.
Like usual.
What the fuck does that mean?
I'm sorry. Oh,
so you're just gonna say ignorant shit and then not even commit to it?
I just didn't...
Have you realized yet that having this conversation when we're both drunk out of our minds is a bad idea? And did you really think cornering me at that party and dropping that kind of question in front of everyone else was the best way you could have gone about things? Like, what the fuck did you...
Guys, we need to talk. Is this a bad time?
Nope! It's the perfect time.
I'm picking up a vibe from the room.
We are drunk, and that is all. What's going on?
We found something, and we wanted to run it by you two as well.
Like research something.
Like an incredible historical document that may or may not have just landed in our lap. Something.
Shit, alright, what is it?
Johnathan Harker, solicitor who lived in the 19th century claims to have had an incident with a Mr. Dracula. Very little evidence or writings to support that claim. Until maybe now.
Holy shit, it's like a pile of pigskin.
Have you read it?
Only a little bit. When we realized what it might be, Lacey got excited and wanted everyone to see it.
Okay, so let's read it and figure out what we've got.
Lacey, you've helped me with essays before, so you're probably the best of us at reading difficult handwriting.
Copy that. Everyone ready?
Yup.
Fire away.
Okay. Here goes.
Count Dracula had directed me to go to the Golden Krona Hotel, which I found, to my great delight, to be thoroughly old-fashioned, for of course I wanted to see all that I could of the ways of the country. I was evidently expected, for when I got near the door, I faced a cheery-looking elderly woman in the usual peasant dress, a white undergarment with long double apron, front and back, and of coloured stuff fitted almost too tightly for modesty. When I came close, she bowed and said,
"The Herr Englishman?"
"Yes, Johnathan Harker." She smiled and gave some message to an elderly man in white shirt-sleeves, who had followed her to the door. He went, but immediately returned with a letter.
"My friend, welcome to the Carpathians. I am anxiously expecting you. Sleep well tonight. At 3 tomorrow, the diligence will start for Bukovina. A place on it is kept for you. At the Borgo Pass, my carriage will await you and will bring you to me. I trust that your journey from London has been a happy one, and that you will enjoy your stay in my beautiful land. Your friend, Dracula."
May 4th. I found that my landlord had gotten a letter from the Count, directing him to secure the best place on the coach for me, but on making inquiries as to the details, he seemed somewhat reticent, and pretended that he could not understand my German. He and his wife, the old lady who had received me, looked at each other in a frightened sort of way.
"The money has been sent in a letter. That is all I know."
When I asked him if he knew Count Dracula and could tell me anything of his castle, both he and his wife crossed themselves, and, saying they knew nothing at all, simply refused to speak further. Before I was leaving, the old lady came up to my room and said in a very hysterical way,
"Oh, must you go, young Herr, must you go?"
She was in such an excited state that she seemed to have lost her grip of what German she knew, and mixed it all up with some other language which I did not know at all. I was just able to follow her by asking many questions. "Ma'am, I must go at once, and that I'm engaged on some very important business."
"Do you know what day it is?"
"It's the 4th of May.
"Oh, yes, I know that, but do you know what day it is?"
"I do not understand."
"It is the eve of St. George's Day. Do you not know that tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, all the evil things in the world will have full sway? Do you know where you are going, and what you are going to?"
She was in such evident distress that I tried to comfort her, but without effect. Finally, she went down on her knees and implored me not to go, at least to wait a day or two before starting. It was all very ridiculous, but I did not feel comfortable. However, there was business to be done, and I could allow nothing to interfere with it. I therefore tried to raise her up, and said as gravely as I could that I thanked her, but my duty was imperative, and that I must go. She then rose and dried her eyes, and taking a crucifix from her neck, offered it to me. I did not know what to do, for as an English churchman I had been taught to regard such things in such measure as idolatrous, and yet it seemed so ungracious to refuse an old lady meaning so well and in such a state of mind. She saw, I suppose, the doubt in my face, for she put the rosary round my neck and said,
"For your mother's sake,"
and went out of the room. I am writing up this part of the diary whilst I am waiting for the coach, which is, of course, late. And the crucifix is still round my neck. Whether it is the old lady's fear, or the many ghostly traditions of this place, or the crucifix itself, I do not know, but I am not feeling nearly as easy in my mind as usual. If this book should ever reach Mina before I do, let it bring my goodbye. Ah, here comes the coach! The crazy coach rocked on its great leather springs, and swayed like a boat tossed on a stormy sea. I had to hold on. And then the mountains seemed to come nearer to us on either side, and to frown down upon us. We were entering on the Bourgeois Pass. We could see now the sandy road lying white before us, but there was on it no sign of a vehicle. The passengers drew back with a sigh of gladness which seemed to mock my own disappointment. The driver, turning to me, spoke in German worse than my own.
There is no carriage here. The Herr is not expected after all. He will now come to Berkovina, and will return tomorrow or the next day. Better the next day.
Whilst he was speaking, the horses began to neigh and snort and plunge wildly, so that the driver had to hold them up. Amongst a chorus of screams from the peasants and a universal crossing of themselves, a caleche with 4 horses drove up behind us, overtook us, and drew up beside the coach. I could see from the flash of our lamps as the rays fell on them that the horses were coal-black and splendid animals. They were driven by a tall man, with a long brown beard and a great black hat, which seemed to hide his face from us. I could only see the gleam of a pair of very bright eyes, which seemed red in the lamplight, as he turned to us. He said to the driver,
You are early tonight, my friend.
The English Herr was in a hurry.
That is why I suppose you wished him to go on to Bukovina. You cannot deceive me, my friend. I know too much, and my horses are swift.
As he spoke, he smiled, and the lamplight fell on a hard-looking mouth with very red lips, and sharp-looking teeth as white as ivory. With exceeding alacrity, my bags were handed out and put in the caleche. Then I descended from the side of the coach as the caleche was close alongside, the driver helping me with a hand which caught my arm in a grip of steel. Without a word, he shook his reins, the horses turned, and we swept into the darkness of the pass. May 5th. I must have been asleep, for certainly if I had been fully awake, I must have noticed the approach of such a remarkable place. When the caleche stopped, the driver jumped down and held out his hand to assist me to alight. His hand actually seemed like a steel vice that could have crushed mine if he had chosen. And he took out my traps and placed them on the ground beside me as I stood close to a great door, old and studded with large iron nails, and set in a projecting doorway of massive stone. I stood in silence where I was, for I did not know what to do. Of bell or knocker there was no sign. Through those frowning walls and dark window openings it was not likely that my voice could penetrate. The time I waited seemed endless, and I felt doubts and fears crowding upon me. What sort of place had I come to, and among what kind of people? What sort of grim adventure was it on which I had embarked? Was this a customary incident in the life of a solicitor's clerk sent out to explain the purchase of a London estate to a foreigner? Just as I had come to this conclusion, I heard a heavy step approaching behind the great door, and saw through the chinks of the gleam of a coming light. Then there was the sound of rattling chains and the clinking of massive bolts drawn back. The key was turned with a loud grating noise of long disuse, and the great door swung back. Within stood a tall old man, clean-shaven save for a long white moustache, and clad in black from head to foot, without a single speck of colour about him anywhere. He held in his hand an antique silver lamp, in which the flame burned without chimney or globe of any kind, throwing long, quivering shadows as it flickered in the draught of the open door. The old man motioned me in with his right hand with a courtly gesture, saying in excellent English, but with a strange intonation,
Welcome to my house. Enter freely.
So, any thoughts?
Yeah. First of all, holy crap.
Yes, that seems appropriate.
Okay, sorry, maybe this is a dumb question, but was all of that for real? Like, for real? Really Johnathan Harker's real historical journal?
Maybe.
I think that it all fits. The details in this journal match what little we know of Harker's life and travels.
Which any random Joe, Jane, or Jay could have Googled.
Why would someone go to this level of effort to make such a realistic fake?
I don't know. Don't get me wrong, we totally may have stumbled upon something fucking incredible. I just don't want you to get your hopes up too high before we have all the information, you know?
Well, no need to be pessimistic.
Come on, bro. That is the pot calling the kettle black.
Why do you say that?
When have you ever been optimistic?
Okay, fair. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't want you to decide that this isn't worth your time.
Oh, well, that's easy. Even if this isn't the real Harker, I still really want to know where this weirdness is going. I mean, look at this journal. There was a lot of information we just heard, and it's also unfinished. It just cut off in the middle of a sentence. Did Harker really enter freely?
It looks like most of the journal's pages have been ripped out.
Are you sure about that? Because given the state of the thing, they may have just fallen out over time.
Well, I hope not. They could be anywhere in that case.
I'm not so sure about that.
What do you mean?
Well, this journal had to come from somewhere, right? Where the hell could that have been? Why did it end up in this library? And why didn't the librarian realize it?
I don't know if that librarian would care.
Okay, but it still had to come from somewhere. And that means these pages, or the person who took them, has to be out there somewhere. And what else happened to Harker? I want to see how this story ends, even if it's a big old fake.
Okay, cool. Babe, just 1 second. Can I bring you back to Earth? Just a little bit? Okay. This is what, a 150-year-old journal which may once have belonged to a man who likely encountered a mythical historical figure who at best was probably a dangerous crazy rich guy and at worst had superpowers. If this is really Johnathan Harker's journal, this is a historical document and we are all students.
Why should that stop us from doing some research?
You don't think we're gonna get in a little over our heads with this?
If we do, we can turn in what we have. I don't see why we can't give it a try ourselves, though.
But why, though?
Well, what if someone is trying to hide the journal? Maybe if it gets out on the news that this part has been discovered, they'll try to destroy the rest. Maybe it will be good to have the element of surprise on our side.
Why would someone hide the journal?
You heard, Andre. People around here are weird about Dracula. Maybe they thought it would make people act weird if something came around that proved his existence.
Well, what if it does?
I mean, sure, some people would turn into weirdo cultists about it, but the same is true of, like, everything. I would want to know if this Dracula dude really existed.
Okay, what does continuing to try to solve this mystery actually look like?
Well, we'll continue to search the library, obviously. Talk to Andre, talk to Florin, and then maybe do a bit more poking around.
Absolute worst case scenario. We drop all of this at the end of the week and turn in everything we've found. What's the worst that could happen?
Okay, I'm in.
All right, we're solving a mystery.
Fuck yes! Jamie Hannigan, private buy.
Oh, I am totally stealing that.
Okay, how about we start solving mysteries tomorrow? Right now I'm tired, still pissed, and mostly drunk.
I don't know if I'm ready to go to bed yet. I'm still pretty amped up.
Come cuddle.
Okay.
Morgan,
Good night.
Jamie, honey, take this or leave this, but whatever happened before we got here, I think you fucked it up.
Yeah. Good night.
You coming?
No, I think I'm gonna stay up a bit longer and do some research.
Okay. Don't stay up too late, alright? I need you at full capacity when I join in tomorrow.
Oh, don't worry about me.
I won't. Night, bro.
Night, sis. And so it begins.
Breaking news tonight in Boston, near the King's Chapel Burying Grounds. Our Boston Tonight correspondent Linda Lynn is on the scene. Linda?
Good evening, everyone. I'm here at the scene at King's Chapel Burying Grounds, where just 2 hours ago a young man was discovered covered in blood while carrying a deadly weapon. He was apprehended without any struggle. The BPD are not currently disclosing any details with the press, but have confirmed that the young man was a student in the Boston area.
Were there any witnesses on the scene?
Absolutely. A local eyewitness reported the young man to the police, and he's here with me tonight. Mr. O'Malley, how are you tonight?
You know what? I'm very good. Especially since I'm talking to a lady like you. Well, is that an okay thing to say, that you're a pretty lady?
I would actually prefer that we discuss what you witnessed tonight, Mr. O'Malley.
All right, I know when I'm beat. Anyways, pretty lady, I can tell you what I saw in Can I curse?
I would actually ask that you watch your language as we are on live public access television.
Okay, got it. I totally got it. I'm walking my dog here. Good old Pedroia. Good boy. Named for the once reliable MVP Dustin Pedroia. Though I cannot blame that guy for fucking up his knee, because, I've been there too.
Mr. O'Malley, please.
Right, sure. Anyways, I'm walking Pedroia. He likes to take a stroll through the cemetery every night. He's probably hoping some bones show up, something for him to chew on, you know what I'm saying?
Mr. O'Malley.
So, we're walking there, and this fucking sorry effing looking crazy kid just standing in the cemetery, covered in blood. I mean, he's just covered. And I start thinking that I seen a ghost. Pedroia starts freaking out, and he's backing, and I figure the guy must be real, so I realize it's probably some bum skeezer, tweaking on something.
Did you see any drugs on him?
No, but he had the look of it, He started rocking back and forth and muttering to himself, so I figure I'll be an upstanding citizen and, call it in, so I dialed the 911, I let that nice lady on the other end know what I seen, and then me and Pedroia get closer to him, and he's got a fucking knife, this guy. Now I'm thinking, sweet Mother Mary of God, his kid's gonna kill my dog and me. So, I'm freaking out there.
Did he attack you?
No, he didn't make any move on it. He must have seen Pedroia, thought he didn't want to mess with this tough little guy.
Did anything else about him seem strange?
You mean besides the blood? I mean, yeah, sure. The kid's huge. He's like Celtics player tall. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he looks real small somehow. Like, I get closer to him, he's just muttering, sorry, Micah, over and over. Over and over. He sounded real sad about it.
Any idea what he was referring to?
No, I don't got a clue, but I gotta say, the kid looks a little like with the word my grandkid told me, LGBT, you know what I'm saying? So, maybe he stabbed his boyfriend, he was all upset, and then he was covered in his blood.
I don't think it's fair to make assumptions
No. I am not a bigot. No, my grandkids are all about the crazy shit with the twinks and the bears, and the himbos, and the otters. They call me an otter, which is fine.
And that's all we have from the eyewitness, Mr. O'Malley. We thank him for his seeing something and saying something.
You are welcome.
What do you make of all this back in the studio, Brett?
Well, I'll tell you what, Linda, it's not every day we have an incident like this happen in Boston. The police reported that the suspect, now identified as Aaron Woods, was not intoxicated at the time of his arrest. Mysterious.
I agree. It's troubling that this young man was able to make his way into such a well-known area without being stopped while holding a deadly weapon. It's a miracle that no one was hurt, though. Hang on. I'm getting something from one of the other officers. My God. I've just now received news from the officers on the scene that when they went to search Aaron Woods' apartment, they found the body of a young man. Police cannot yet confirm his identity due to extensive lacerations and stab wounds, but they will be holding a press conference tomorrow with all the details that they've been able to gather. This has been Linda Lynn with your 11 o'clock breaking news for Boston Tonight. Thank you.
You've been listening to The Dracula Inquiry, produced by the Artsonists. This episode was written by Jessica Lynn Jakopak and Alex E. Hanbury. Technical direction and editing by R. Klein. The roles of Sheridan, Jamie, and Johnathan Harker were played by Alex E. Hanbury. The role of Annika was played by Lauren Dobbs. The role of Simon was played by Andrew Kilpatrick. The role of Morgan was played by Julia LaPlante. The role of Lacey was played by Jessica Lynn Jakopak. The roles of the elderly woman and Dracula were played by R. Klein. The roles of the landlord and the coach driver were played by Mike DeQuilla. The roles of the Boston news anchor and Mr. O'Malley were played by Terry Tokentines. And the role of Linda Lynn was played by Christine Riley.